last talk we were talking about the six needs in for a happy relationship, and today we're going to talk about the six components that comprise our model of the world. And when we say when we all are made, obviously, we design our own model of the world, and like just like an internal system. So when we take a gadget, there is an OS inside, right? An operating system for it to behave like the way it has to behave. So similarly, we all have an internal program while we, I mean, for us to execute, like probably like what to expect from others, what to expect from ourselves, or how we want to live, what we need, what we value. All of these they create the model of the world, and there are six components that comprise I mean, there are six components that create the model of our world.
Yeah. So coming to the first component, we'll discuss about the belief system, right? So the beliefs that limit us. Okay. So when it comes to a relationship, especially, I mean, as San also was sharing, so we all have our default programs inbuilt. But how when we become adults, it's we say it is default, but they will be definitely installed over a period of time, right? How does it get installed? Maybe through our experiences from childhood, through our parents, our siblings, friends, community, society. So all of these guys from after our birth definitely will install these programs, and that's how we have formed some certain beliefs within us, right? So and these beliefs, how much is true or how much is good for a relationship, how much is bad for a relationship, it depends from person to person, right? So I mean, the author talks about these metaphors also we use. This belief system actually it depends on also like, uh, I mean, it will decide what metaphors, what questions we ask ourselves. Probably when as a couple, like a spouse can be talking a positive metaphor, which will give positive feelings, or the other person can be using negative metaphor, which can be inducing negative feelings. It depends on, again, it goes back to the belief system, right? So in order to just see how, I mean, whether this belief system is helping or not, author gives a small example about this superstitious rat, right? So, I mean, there was some set of rats they experiment with, right? What is the experiment about? So there is like a 3 foot cage, and there is a tray of food at the end of the cage, okay? And these rats will get the food only when they enter the cage after 10 seconds. I mean, after they are released, right? And it takes only 2 seconds for the rats to enter the cage, but there is a catch here. The food will be served to the rat only after 10 seconds, right? So these rats, right, they realize, okay, this is the funda happening. So what can we do within the 8 seconds, because it only takes 2 seconds for the rat to enter the cage, right? So what can we do in these 8 seconds? And some rats will keep jumping, turning around, some will be doing somersaults and all of that sort, right? And then they will enter after 10 seconds they will be getting the food. So there will be some other rats seeing these few rats which are doing this acrobatics, and they think, okay, so we will get the food only when we jump, we will get the food only when we do somersaults. They are in that beliefs, and then they also start doing the same thing, right? So every rat will start doing the same thing with this assumption, and then they are getting the food. But if you see the actual cause of it, as I told you, it is, I mean, the food is served only after 10 seconds, right? But after a period of time, these rats don't know this, and they have formed some other belief system. So just if you go back and see what belief system we have installed, is it helping you in a relationship? Is it not? We have to sit and think about it, right? So this belief system also creates patterns in your life, right? So these patterns are so induced in our system. If you try to break the pattern, it will be like, okay, I mean, my heart is going to stop if you break the pattern, right? It will be like such patterns will be also created over a period of time. And yeah, and the author also talks about the dopamine hormone, right, which gives a natural high. So when sometimes you break the pattern for a positive thing, maybe you give a surprise, or maybe you can give some gift for your wife, or if there is a market crash, it is a negative dopamine, right? So all these factors again goes back to a belief system, right? So more or less, I mean, these beliefs actually create a big impact in your behaviors, in your, I mean, you form theories based on your belief system, and based on these theories and I mean, on the behaviors, you take decisions. Whatever decisions you take, you're taking because of these things, right? So again, if these behaviors are not helping you, I mean, you can change it. Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of people who tell this is like we can't change, but what that is what author is trying to tell. These behaviors are voluntary, right? It can be changed, right? Provided you are aware of this fact that it can be changed. I mean, how easy or difficult it again depends. If you have a difficult childhood or difficult past, it can be little difficult to change, but it can be changed.
So the next one is the key decisions we make. So since childhood, we make so many decisions for so many years, and that becomes a regular thing, right? On a daily basis, we are acting on this decision. Say, for example, you're driving to a location today. How? Because you decided to learn how to drive back in those days, maybe cycle or your bike or car. The decision was to drive. So the other aspect of it is this decision is a good decision and you have to continue for the rest of your life. But if you take any decision, probably how you wanted to live, or what kind of people you want to trust, or what kind of community you want to be with, might change with time, right? So say you had a guy or a girl might have had a tough childhood where the guy actually suppressed his feelings, did not show his emotions, might not be able to be vulnerable to the wife's situations. He might not be able to express or understand the wife and understand his wife and children. On the other hand, if a woman has had a very tough past, if she's had an abusive environment, obviously she would have become a strong lady, right? So if she stood up for that and become a strong lady, she might not be able to understand her husband's needs. So if we have made a decision in our past, doesn't mean that it has to be valid even to this day. It can get obsolete, and also it has to. I mean, it's not like you cannot change the decision. You always have an opportunity to change the decision you have made and to practice new ones. So there are four things that make the key decision stronger. First thing is, like he also said and I also said, childhood. So whatever decisions you've made in your childhood, they're extremely deep, they're extremely rooted so strongly in your in your system. It's like your body is like a system. It's installed so hard and it gets difficult to change that such kind of a decision that you've made. So that is that one key thing that will change, I mean will deepen, is decisions made in the childhood. The second one is decisions made during urgency or circumstances or situations that you don't have an option other than changing. You need to come out of your comfort zone, right? For example, take health. Most of us have desk jobs, and we don't have enough activity, enough exercises, enough amount of health that we are concentrating on. And if you don't take a decision to get up and walk or do your exercises, probably it's not probable, it is going to harm your health in the future. So it's a decision that you need to take today, and to come out of your comfort zone and take a new decision. And such decisions, when you're taking during urgency or a situation which is demanding, it will actually help you in facing new situations. That's like a key decision can form precedents. So it will help you it will help you face more challenges that will come up in future. And the last one is repetitive and reward. So we've all heard, right? Practice makes a man perfect. So if you keep working on the decisions that you have made, you will definitely be able to perform the decision better, and you will be able to reap your rewards. That is like last talk we were talking about the 6 needs, right? Certainty, uncertainty, significance, love, connection, and growth and contribution. So all of these, if you have to work well with your spouse or with the relationship that you want to better off, then if you keep practicing new decisions that has given good results, then that will help you have a better relationship. And it's not easy to give up our identity, right? Old identity, 30 years, 40 years, whatever we've been, it's not easy to just shift your identity and have a new person altogether and the next morning, right? So this is where a coach or a mentor comes into place. Someone has to see you from outside and know what needs to be changed in you and should work along. So that's about the second.
Yeah.